to Non-Professional Dating Advice. This is episode 8, I think. Yeah, 8
Yeah.
episodes. It's kind of cool. I'm joined by my friend Chandler here, the cool guy with the
Mhm.
headphones. Chandler, you
Yep.
want to introduce yourself a little bit?
Yep. So I'm Chandler Crook. I was Kyle's former roommate down at Snow College. That's where we first met. Actually, he got that apartment through a friend of a friend who, so you went and served your mission, and then my friend referred you when he went off to his mission. So it's kind of a nice little circle of truth there. So that's how we just spent a couple of semesters together, had a lot of fun, got into a bit of trouble. And yeah, so it was a good couple of semesters. Glad to have you there.
Yeah, no, it was way fun. I love Snow College. That was the school I went to before. And yeah, it's just I've talked about it on this podcast before. E from Utah, Snow College, small town, but
Hmm.
it's just such a good time. And you know Tylen Nelson, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was on like one of the first episodes of the show, and we talked about
Hmm.
like small town dating and like how it can be awkward because he went to, I think it was North Sevier High School, and he said his graduating class was really small. And
Yeah.
so a lot of people would like cross date, like they would date somebody
Hmm.
and then break up, and then their friend would date them just because they had limited number of options down there.
Yeah, pretty much. I have this meme somewhere. It's like dating in a small town, and it shows like 8 guys in a small round table, and they're passing Gatorade and Powerade bottles back and forth to each other, and they're just barely crossing. So it's like dating in a small town, and they're just switching them back and forth. Like yeah, that's so true. And my problem down at Snow College was I had to use my family tree app pretty often, just just to be sure, you know.
Do you have a story where like you were dating someone, you found out you were like a little too close on the family tree, or why did you have to start doing that?
Well, the first one was She Who Must Not Be Named. She said that she had like a fourth. I don't think you ever met her,
I
but
don't think I did. No, I hear
oh, that's
stories
good.
about her, but I never met this girl.
Yeah, yeah, bad stuff. So, um, she said that she had like a crook on. That's my last name is Crook. So she had a crook on like her mom's like fourth cousin side. So it was pretty distant. And then I think it was like last fall, I hit up Mutual again because I was super bored. So I hit up this one girl and we were talking back and forth, and she was up at Logan. And then she found out that my last name was Crook. And then she said that her her aunt's maiden name was Crook. So I was like, and then the thing was is that she beat me to it. She started singing Sweet Home Alabama right there. uh,
Sweet home
so
Alabama.
yeah, so after that we're just like, yeah, do you want to just be friends? And we're like, yeah, let's keep it like that.
Oh man. Well, I've mentioned this before. My grandparents on my dad's side, they both grew up in the small town of Wellsville, Utah, just up here in Cache Valley.
Yeah.
And so their families were like some of the first families that came into the valley, like when people started moving west. And so they're actually third cousins, my grandma, my grandpa.
Oh,
So they're like right on the border
right on the
of
border.
like weird crap going on, but hey,
Yeah.
they make it work, and as far as I can tell, there's nothing genetically wrong with me, so despite what some people might say.
Yeah, I'm sure your siblings have some insults back and forth to each other as well,
Absolutely.
and no relations whatsoever. So
Mm,
one girl I wasn't even related, and I think the family tree app extends to like seventh and eighth cousins, and it showed nothing. So I
mm.
was like, okay,
You're like, I'm in the green.
it's like I'm in the green. Let's go.
Speaking of green, it is St. Patrick's Day, so happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody.
Yeah,
So you're wearing a green shirt. Let me show everyone
yeah.
here my green pants that I'm wearing.
Ah,
So you
very
know,
snazzy. Yeah, I
got
actually I actually forgot about St. Patty's Day. I just grabbed this shirt because it's really comfy. So I just grabbed it because living in an RV, my closet is in my parents' bedroom, and then my mom gets ready. So I was just like, first shirt, it's in the dark, and I just grabbed it. So
yeah. Well, like, that's pretty lucky. I don't know. That's
pretty lucky. Ha ha ha. I see what you did there.
Yeah. Well, if funny thing, in one of my classes today, we were actually talking about dating. It's like a family and marriage class, and so we
Mm,
like, talk about just like the way marriage and family is changed over time and how it's affected in society. Anyways, we're talking about dating, and my professor was talking about how usually um, two people who are on similar attractive levels kind of like get together. So basically, meaning like you usually get with someone who's in your same league, as some people say,
yeah.
you know what I mean? But he was saying, he was making a joke. He's like, well, speaking of St. Patrick's Day, I was very lucky because my wife is like super attractive and I'm just me. And like,
Mhm.
she's like way out of my league, but I lucked out with her. And I feel like a lot of the times that happens for the guy. Like the guy is like per se in a lower field.
Mhm.
Like he like scores like with this like really attractive girl or whatever. But I just thought it was funny that he mentioned that in class today and St. Patrick's Day, all about luck. And sometimes
Mhm.
dating, you just need some straight up luck.
Yeah, actually, I've seen that a lot too, especially on Instagram. You always see um, it's copy and paste pretty much. You see all the marriages in Provo or like that Utah County bubble, pretty much. They all look the same. All the guys have the same haircut. Nice fair complexion. They're always wearing suit and tie. Well, not always wearing suit and tie, and then the females are blonde most of the time. I mean, most of the time, yes, they're blondes because all the other ones are blonde as well. So Utah County has a very familiar trend that everybody goes along with. And I noticed that with a couple of my friends. There's a lot to it. I haven't. Did you ever take that courtship and marriage class at Snow?
No, I didn't, but I heard it was really good. Did you take it?
No, I didn't. I just I whenever I heard people talking about it, I contributed, and they're like, "Hey, did you take that class?" I'm like, "No, I'm just kind of observant, like a people watcher, pretty much." And so it's kind of interesting how they say like the same people, like so, as you said, people within your league. It's a lot based on comparison and judgment. And I'm taking a couple of evolution classes, and the funny thing is that those coincide as well. So I wish this episode was a little bit longer because I got charts and I got a whole bunch of stuff that that
Dang.
goes with that. So with evolution, it talks about with um, some people may not like this term, but mating. So whenever you're trying to pursue mating, Utah County, anybody who's LDS wants to have kids, they think about physical attributes, mental attributes, social status, that kind of thing. And what I noticed is that they're either within your league or there's one above the other. Most of the time, it's the female who's the more attractive one, and the male isn't that much.
Hmm. And what's like the scientific reasoning for that?
It's competition mostly. Have you ever had a friend that let's say, a female friend that you grew up with or you were very closely acquainted with, and then when the dating scene comes on, somebody else likes them, they're attracted to them, you kind of get your heart beats a little bit faster, and you think that person's more attractive
Yeah.
because of competition. So that's a couple of, I can't say the exact same thing because it was like a month ago, but the same thing applies to our kingdom and the animal kingdom. It's just we're just looking for a partner.
We're just looking for love. What's that one country? I think there's a country song called Looking for Love. It's like, I'm not gonna sing it right now, but yeah, looking for love. I think it was like looking for love in all the right places, looking for love in familiar faces or something like that.
Yeah, I can think of the song. It's part of the song in the Cars, like here she comes, looking for love. Here she comes. That's all I can think of.
So I know Valentine's Day is like the holiday of love. Can St. Patrick's Day be another holiday of love?
No, it's not of love, it's by luck, pretty much.
Yes, yes. St. Patrick's Day is all about luck, and sometimes you need a little luck when it comes to.
Yeah. Oh, funny you mentioned Valentine's Day, actually, since this is a unprofessional dating advice channel, I'll talk to you about my Valentine's story.
Yeah, let's hear
So
it.
usually we did it with Apartment 7, and Airbnb and I did it with a couple of other girls. So especially with the single girls. On Valentine's Day, it's either you get hitched or you get kicked. It's either official or you're breaking up. And Airbnb pointed that out to me very well. And I wasn't. I'm in the YSA ward, and there's a lot of single females there. So it's not like a college one where you don't see the same face twice. It's always different people most of the time. So this one is, I got very well acquainted with a couple of girls, actually four of them, and we watched movies together. We took a summer, it was like the YSA, we took a summer trip together, and it was like a 4-hour drive up into Idaho. So we got very well acquainted with each other, had a lot of laughs. So I hung out with these girls and I wanted to give them a present. So for Valentine's Day, I got them flowers, and not only just flowers, but their favorite flowers and their favorite treats as well. So out of these four girls, I had special ordered flowers, stems, and their favorite treats. So like $110 later, I sent them out, and I even put in little notes just to see, just to make it more memorable. So I colored them, I drew little hearts on them, and I put in the poems were of like how I met them and kind of like how it's going. Nothing romantic, just fun.
Yeah.
It was like we met on a car trip together. It was such a long ride, and it went so well that it was like watching the ocean's tide, you know,
Oh, wow.
like stuff like that. So with four different girls, it was four different subjects, and then I gave them all out, and they said thank you. So yeah, no romance for me, but I was pretty generous.
That is very generous. It's so very thoughtful and kind of you. I hope all my female listeners are like, wow, this Chandler guy is so sweet.
Yeah, chivalry isn't dead. It just took a detour.
Indeed, indeed. Yeah, no, I had a Valentine's episode about, I think it was 2 episodes ago or so. And go check it out. The guy I brought on shared this crazy story about this one time he had this Valentine, and I won't tell you now. I want you guys to go check it out, but it was super good. But yeah, no, that sounds like a really good Valentine's Day. And you know what? I've mentioned this before. Like, obviously, I'm a non-professional, and I'm not gonna like help you find love at the end of the day. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. But it's good. It's good just to connect with people and to make friends and do nice things for people, even if it doesn't lead to anything romantic. You know what I mean? Like, maybe this is just the seed or just the first step, and maybe further down the road they think highly of you because of what you did. And so maybe at the end of the day, just like be kind, to everybody and treat everyone well. And maybe if you're lucky.
Yeah, I think what everybody's wanting to look out for is, like you said, down the road. Everybody's wondering, when does that road come into my lane, or when does her car come into my lane? When does it come over here? Because you can't be in the friend zone forever. So what I noticed is I can't after Valentine's Day, I took a couple more dates, like I don't know if dating 5 girls is a lot in a couple of months, but I was like, just searching, nothing offensive. I paid for dinner. I had a good time. I got to know them. I asked some good questions and stuff. So I'm wondering, how do you get the second or third date? Like, I'm going to use you as an example because you have the girly friend that I met during spring break. So how do you get that second or third date?
Yeah. So So you want me to share from my personal experience how I did that?
Hmm.
Okay. So what I did, and I've mentioned this here on the show before, is so I didn't like know, like she lived in my same apartment complex, still does, but like I didn't know her that well, and I didn't really know any of her roommates or any of her friends. And so I was kind of in a tough position because I couldn't just like it, I feel like it's a lot easier if you have like mutual friends or like you have something to connect on.
Hmm.
So it was a little difficult because I didn't want to just like approach her and be like, hey, my name is Kyle, by the way. Like, I think you're cool. Like, let's go out, because that
Yeah.
comes off a little too forward and a little too intimidating sometimes. I'm not saying that you can't do that, but I wanted to go about it a different way. And so
Yeah.
I met her at FHE at the church one time. And from there, I got her phone number, so I had contact information. And I just like invited her to do stuff in groups before I even asked her out on the first date. And so by the time the first date did come, we had hung out maybe like 3, 4, 5 times, both in groups and both like one-on-one. So she like knew me pretty well. And so when I went on the first date, it's like there wasn't a lot of nervousness or a lot of uneasiness because she kind of like already
Mhm.
knew who I was. There wasn't like sometimes the awkward first date experiences where you're like trying to get to know them and you really don't know this person. You're like, do I like this person? And so
Yeah.
at that point, she decided that she liked having me around and thought I was somebody to keep seeing. And so asking for a second date was pretty natural because we both wanted to see each other again, and there was that establishment that was already laid, that foundation.
Mhm.
And so yeah, I just after our first date, I just asked her, hey, like, I love to do this again sometime. Like, and it wasn't even like, because at that point it wasn't like, when am I going to see her next? Or if I'm going to see her next, it was a point of, when am I going to see her next? Like I wasn't
Yeah.
like thinking, oh, I might never see her again. Cause like, I was like, I knew we were going to. And so that made it a little easier, but it's so relative. Like I've talked about before, because sometimes you're like friends with them first, or sometimes you just meet them in class, or sometimes you just meet them in whatever capacity, and you don't get to build that foundation every time. And so frankly, like if you're interested in asking for a second date, I think just on the first date, just be yourself and just try to have a fun time.
Mhm.
And then yeah, just say, hey, I had a really good time, let's do this again. And if they're interested, they'll say yes, obviously, and if they're not, they'll say no. But
Yeah. I either or.
there's just like, it's like, I'm trying to remember Hitch, the movie Hitch. I don't
Yeah.
I don't use the movie Hitch like as like like uh my textbook for this podcast per se, but
That's a great source.
it really would be. But I'm not quite like Will Smith's character. I'm not quite an expert in that regard. But honestly, yeah, I think it's uh it's almost like a numbers game too. Like if you want to get more second dates, you just have to go on more dates.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like my cousin, for example, last semester, he went, seriously, I think he went on a date, maybe not every day, but like multiple times a week, like 3, 4 times a week. And like
Yeah.
obviously he wasn't just dating just to like say, oh, I went out with all these girls. He was dating to like meet people and put himself out there and see what he likes. And because he just understood that, I'm not like the first girl I'm going to meet, like that's not going to necessarily be the one. You know what I mean? Like I gotta put myself out there and see. And some were just one-time things, some were like 2 or 3. And yeah, so I don't think it's helpful to limit yourself to just like one person in the initial stages. Like
Mhm.
I think it's a good idea to go out with maybe a couple girls and just kind of like see what you like for, because like you want to like them as a person, right? You don't
Yeah.
want to just date someone just to date someone, like you want to date someone who you feel a connection with and who you can be a better person and make them a better person. And so honestly, I think getting second and third dates come in part by just going on a lot of first dates with multiple girls, if that makes sense, or multiple,
Yeah.
whoever you want to date. It's kind of a thing.
Yeah. Definitely go in groups. I think that says that in did you ever read The Strength of Youth?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
that? Yeah, definitely keep it in dates, especially because that's what I saw Kolya and Airby do. They had the same amount of friends, and then those friends had friends. So that's their main dating pool. That's how they met new people. And then uh, pretty much social status. If you got good connections with their friend, then that means you have a good connection with their friend of a friend. So it's
Mhm.
much easier to establish a smaller foundation. And then if you want, you can build up a bigger foundation from there. I think that's where I'm lacking because I'm not in any apartments. I'm living with my parents 30 miles away from campus because rent is obnoxiously expensive.
Seriously, it's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, that's what I miss about snow is that you pay 1 grand for 2 semesters and utilities are paid, everything, expenses are taken care of pretty much. So, but that's where my fault is that I'm not doing it in groups. I'm just singling them out pretty much. Because when it comes to singling people out, first impressions are everything. I mean, this is both parties, both males and females. You're very judgmental when it comes to a single person. It's like an interview, pretty much. You don't know what they've been through. You don't know what their interests are until you ask more questions. And if it's a date, that adds more pressure. And I think last episode, your buddy, what was his name?
Um,
Your mission buddy from the last episode?
Brett.
Brett. Okay, so he was talking about social media has really just, and this is both of us. Like I'm pretty judgmental when it comes to like just by looks and personality, but still I give my effort because I don't know what this person's been through. I don't know what they're like around their friends, or if it's like an illusion pretty much. So social media has really brought us down quite a few bars when it comes to dating and social status, as well as just interactions,
Mhm.
basic social interactions. And so whenever those 4 or 5 girls I was not really dating, but dated for a couple months, I was writing down questions that would pique their interest, like besides like what are you studying, what do you like to do, how many people are in your family. I'm asking more like what did you like to do as a child, and have you kept that up to your adulthood, or what did you like. It's a couple of like kid questions pretty much, but some of them are the key to dating is whoever invites the person to date them have the other person talk about themselves, because in that way they're more comfortable in an unknown environment. So other like get to know you questions like which sibling are you closest to and why, and if they don't have siblings, like what's something you want people to notice or ask about you every time you're in a social setting. Like some girls are like, I really like my hair. I think my hair is my best quality. And other questions like this is a fun one. If you didn't have to sleep, what would you do with that extra time?
Mm. Yeah, that.
Yeah.
What would I do with my extra time? No, I like those questions, and I think something else just came to me, and maybe something that could help um, distinguish you from others and help you, I guess, stand out more, be more unique. Is asking these more unique questions, or just bringing a more unique experience to the first date. Just because I feel like so many first dates, especially when you don't know the person super well, are just very, um, not scripted, but like, you know what I mean? Like you know what's coming. Like, here comes all the basic questions.
Yeah,
From how many siblings do I have? What I like to do? You know, what am I studying? Different things like that. But if you
very run of the mill.
like unique and deeper questions that like provoke thought and conversation, then that will be like, oh, this guy asked me more unique questions, or this guy
Mhm.
has this interesting take. Just leaves them thinking maybe a little bit more than not. So
Yeah, if you've ever come across on your like YouTube thumbnail the spicy wings, like people get nervous when they're eating spicy wings and the guy asks them questions. Like you have to listen to his questions. The bald guy who's interviewing it, that's his YouTube channel. He does some really good questions, and then all the people are like, "Wow, really? Like you're you're a really good interviewer. I really like that's a great question, because he asks about their passions, their drives, what makes them, you
yeah.
know, not just like what they see in the mirror, but what they put in their journal or what they think about to themselves. If they sing in the car or if they sing in the shower, small little things that makes a person different from every other person.
So Chandler, let me ask you a very important question. Do you prefer a girl who sings in the shower or who sings in the car?
I would be fine with both of them, honestly, because I don't really scream, but I really like raise my voice in the car, especially like the other day when it was like 60 degrees outside. I turned on my car and I was about to go take lunch, and then Bohemian Rhapsody comes on.
Mm,
So I cracked the windows down a little bit and I was singing along to it. And for anybody who's seen Wayne's World, the one part where the guitar comes in and everybody's like bopping their heads, I was like getting really into it. So I was having a lot of fun with it. Yeah. So if she sings in the shower, fine with me. If she sings in the car, it's hopefully we have the same taste in music.
I'm thinking of the Pina Colada song right now, where
Yeah.
the girl writes in the personal columns. I guess back in the day, they would write dating
Yeah.
in the newspaper, and like he's like reading it. And so I'm thinking of like yours, and yours like you're like, I want, or like for yourself, you're like, I'm somebody who writes poetry. I'm somebody who dreams Bohemian Rhapsody. I'm somebody
Yeah.
who so if you like receiving poetry and singing,
Singing in the car.
yeah, then give me a call.
Yeah, that's what I've seen a lot on. I actually just deleted Mutual and Bumble this afternoon because I wasn't that motivated. Maybe it's because it's right after spring break and I just want to relax and just do some homework, get some accomplishments done. But the same thing is like on all their profiles, it's like, hey, we're made for each other if you can quote Brooklyn Nine-Nine, or we're made for each other if you like to sing/shout in the car. Just little pina colada articles that make them more of who they are. So I actually had one experience like that where this one girl on Mutual, she was the last great date. So if she's watching this channel, she knows who she is.
I
And
sure hope she's watching. What are the odds?
yeah, yeah, maybe I'll share this on my Instagram story.
Do
It's
it,
like,
do
hey, this is for you.
it.
So her and I actually connected very, very well. It was like an endless conversation. And then I was asking like, hey, it was right before um, Haley's wedding. I was planning the date of like what we could do in such a short notice. And I was like, the first thought came to mind was a batting cage. And I'm like, nah, girls don't like that unless they're like on the softball or yeah, softball team. So I asked that and we went and did some batting cages and she was super excited. And then like 2 days later after that, she's like, thanks for the date, but I just don't think it's going to work out. Good luck. The lesson I learned with her is first impressions are everything, or get to know them in a group. So here is the start of it. I think it'll show it in reverse. But here's the female chart of cute versus money
Okay.
for when they're selecting a partner. And women are way more choosier than men. I'll give it to that because they're way more observant. The dream for every girl is to have it just go straight across the top, just boom, perfect husband. What actually happens is that there's a couple of zones. Is the no-go zone. It doesn't matter how cute you are, it doesn't matter how much money you have. It's a very large field of disinterest. And then past this part, all the way to the right, the husband zone, where it doesn't matter how cute they are. It just matters how much they can provide for their spouse, how much money they make. And this top part is called the fun zone. Yeah. So they are very attractive, but they don't make that much money. Not as much money as the husband. So both parties, they look for cute. So I'll keep that. Both guys look for cute because women are all about looks. You watch 4 hours of television and all the commercials, 70% of them are going to be about women looking beautiful. So with the males is that upscale is cute, but it could be a cute personality, a cute face, a cute butt. I mean, cute has more than just one definition. And then I think when it comes to males, because when males are looking for a mate, they're either a terrible person, they're a player, they just want to get some and go, or they're actually investing towards a spouse. So this is with my experience where I'm trying to invest more towards a spouse, is at the bottom of this line is trust. And then it's the same. I think males no-go zone is smaller, but the trust part is much farther away. So males, like, you don't have to be that cute, but you have to be more trustworthy. But still, that's in like the no-go zone. Same thing, cute at the top, fun zone. But this area with males is much larger because in my experience, I like to, you've heard from Kolya and Airby about Cambry. So she is a huge fun zone, but she also had a lot of friends that, because Cambry is a very attractive female friend and she's very friendly. So actually during the summer, when she would go to church with me, and this was after me being there for 8 months, when Cambry showed up for 3 months, and then she went up to Logan, like 5 or 6 people went up to me like, "Hey, who's that girl you were sitting with? Yeah, she's pretty cute." And even the girls went up like, "Hey, who's that girl you were sitting with? You were always hugging her. She was like really tan." So the thing that males like to do is keep a fun zone extroverted female. And then, of course, this far side of the chart is the trophy wife.
There it is. Yes. Waiting for that all day for you to say that. There it is.
That's what every guy is looking for. And I think the trust part is way farther down the line. It's because I just always go back to social media because you have sources and answers for everything, whether they be right or whether they be wrong. They're still right and they're still wrong. So that's where it all comes in, is group dates. Group dates are the key to looking for that potential person. You got to start with your foundation and you got to build up from there.
Well said. I couldn't have said it better myself. And you have the graphs and earlier you talked about science. You have science and graphs to back up what you say. I like the way you think. I like the way you think.
I think that's another one of my faults is I'm too smart for my own good sometimes. Well, I'm sure there's always somebody smarter, but these little charts were taken into account for I have 3 sisters and a mom, and I'm looking at how they interact with their spouses. Well, except for my youngest sister, who's her and I are the only ones without partners. Mm-hmm. partners, interests, boyfriend, girlfriend, anybody pretty much. We just keep bouncing around. So maybe I'll share this episode with her and she'll get some insight on it.
And anyone who's listening, I would love to have you share it too. If you think this podcast is a good time, or if you think it's just cringeworthy or something to laugh at, yeah, go ahead and post it. I also upload to YouTube as well. So if you want to see the actual video, because Chandler's coming in for the Zoom call because he's at a different school. And so a lot of my guests are from different areas. So I also video it and put it on YouTube. So if you want to see visuals, you can check that out. Chandler, thanks for coming on, man. We went a little more than 10 minutes, but I'm glad we did because you had some good stuff to share. And I love those charts. I think it's so funny.
All about the visuals. Everybody likes visuals.
Yep. We're all visual learners and I really appreciated that. So thanks so much, Chandler, for coming on to Non-Professional Dating Advice. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. If somebody's not wearing green, I guess you can pinch them. And March Madness is on, so you can watch that. And it's just a good time to be alive. Hopefully the weather warms up a little more. And I'm thinking some future episodes we can talk about like summer flings or like summer dating or something like that when the weather warms up. But we'll see. But thanks for coming on, Chandler.
Yeah, thanks for having me. We'll see you around.